Hello cookies, it's Siri. I am back. I got one more question again from someone I know about what on earth it is I am doing. Everyone wonders what I am doing. My cousin, my brothers, my mother, my friends. No one really knows what on earth a sustainability strategist working at a hospital or for small businesses does. I might as well just make a video to explain the whole thing. It is a lot of fun, never the same type of job and never boring. Like just 2 weeks ago, we had this presentation from the Department of Cancer and Radioactivity, and they were telling us about how for some treatments some patients can be radioactive for a while, and then you have different radioactive products to treat cancer, and some die off after a few hours, some after a few days, some after a few weeks. It's definitely a job where you need to talk to people a lot, you need to remember a lot of people, you need to remember a lot of meetings, you need to read a lot of papers and analyze a lot of data. You need to be good at talking to people, and you need to be good at hearing a lot of different opinions and not having your own personal biases or your own personal ideas or your own motivation take over what is necessary for the job to happen and what is safe for the patients. So first of all, a sustainability strategist at a hospital needs to know that the hospital is following the environmental rules that are set by the region, the country, and Europe. And the hospital also has an ISO certificate. For ISO, which is a standard, it's a list of things that a company needs to achieve to be certified eco-friendly or sustainable, depending on which ISO number you have, but basically it's a set of rules and things that you have to fulfill. So a sustainability strategist needs to understand all those different laws, so the EU laws, the Swedish laws, the region laws, and then the requirements to be ISO certified, and then needs to make sure that what the hospital does in terms of sustainability and environmental work matches the requirements from all those laws, so that we don't get fines and so that we can still keep our certificate. We have many ways to make sure that we follow the laws. We do audits. We organize both external and internal audits. We go around the different wards. We check that they sort the trash, take care of chemicals, that they communicate all the environmental goals that the hospital has, that the region has as well. You book the meetings, you take notes, you check that everything is okay, and if something is wrong, you help them, of course. We have environmental spies throughout the hospital that we talk to directly. They communicate the information that we give them to all their colleagues, so nurses, doctors, medical admin people. And we also do surveys where we collect information from all the bosses and people responsible for different wards, the bosses of the boss, the bosses of the boss of the bosses of the bosses, and we ask a lot of questions and we compile the results of those questions. So for example, do you sort your trash? Do you know the procedure in case some chemicals were to get close to the sewage? Do you have a kit that gathers all the chemicals that has been spilled so that it does not end up in nature? If a lot of them answer yes, we know what to do, then we can put in our ISO papers for our certification and in our papers that we submit to the government to say that we follow the law, that yes, we have checked actually 98% of the people that responded in all the wards at the hospital say that they sort their trash, they handle chemicals properly, blah, blah, blah. For those of them that answer no, we contact them and we're like, do you need help? Do you not know how to do it? So we help them deal with that. We do sample testing of the water and of different waste that we produce, and we check how we sort our waste. We check what kind of waste we have. We check the processes of handling waste. Is there a better way to do it? Is there a safer way to do it? Do we know the procedures? How much waste do we actually have? Is the waste better or worse than last year? If we have less waste, good, but is it because we produce less care towards patients, or is it because we have been better at educating the people that work at the hospital in terms of what things they don't need to use? So for example, when it comes to gloves, there are many occasions when giving care to patients or working in the ward where you actually don't need gloves, there are campaigns to teach people how to use less gloves. All those big things like water, waste, and chemical management, and the things that the hospital releases in nature, you control, you compare, you try to find solutions, you try to talk to different stakeholders, to different people to see how you can improve the process. Another thing that I specifically do is that we have a software to track which chemicals are being used and which chemicals can be potentially changed to less dangerous ones, because some chemicals are really bad for people and for the environment. Sometimes it's for both. You have those that are bad because they give you cancer, they give you mutations, they're bad for your reproductive health. In the region, there is a goal before 2030 to phase out all the really dangerous chemicals. Sometimes it's possible to do, sometimes it's not possible to do. But in order for us to know what is being used at the hospital, because a hospital is massive, we have that chemical software where our environmental spies in all the different wards, they log in the chemicals and we can track which ones are being used and how much, the amount that is being used. And it's also super good in case there is a fire, because then we know which ones have the fire symbol and we can communicate that information to the fire department so they know how much stuff they need and how much protection. Because if you have products that react with each other and with fire and then you have gases, maybe it's not safe for the fire department to just go in with just a regular foam. Maybe they need masks, maybe they need extra stuff. There are issues sometimes with the software. It's not the most intuitive software. Some people don't know how to use it properly, or confused, or can't find this and that, because you have to do a few different steps. And then I help them with the software. I book a meeting or I call them or something and I show them how to do it, how to log in the chemicals, which chemicals need to be there, how to log in the amounts, how to change stuff like that. That is more like some admin work. And then of course there is education about the chemicals, education about the environmental goals, education about better ways to use gloves, education about what is happening with food waste, because we also track, of course, food waste at the hospital. Another big component is projects. You start different projects. My colleagues have started projects like recycling plastics, so collecting plastics in the hospital that are not contaminated, so they don't have any diseases, they don't have any blood or human parts or something like that, they don't have dangerous chemicals or medication. Can we recycle that plastic? Can it be turned into something else? Can it be turned into clothes, or can it be turned into plastic material that is clean enough to be reused into like grade A, like best plastic, or grade B or something like that? The hospital uses so many different types of plastics, and so much plastic is used all the time because that's just how it is. The healthcare sector all over the world pollutes way more than flights, and so having pilot projects and projects is super important to test things out. If the project works, then you have to negotiate so that it can be purchased by the hospital, so by the purchasing team. I organize a lot of meetings, I attend a lot of meetings, I listen to a lot of meetings, because when you work in sustainability or in the environmental field, you need to talk to a lot of stakeholders. It's a job that requires a lot of people, a lot of specialists on many different things. Like, for example, now that we are trying to phase out a lot of things, there are gases that have been phased out, like desflurane, so this gas that is used for anesthesia, that is super, super bad for the environment, and we're trying to minimize all the other ones. When it comes to those specific gases, it's been very successful in the region actually to have a phase out entirely certain gases and to also minimize the other gases. I joined a lot of workshops and study groups and stakeholder meetings on how to reduce that and who's made research. You need PhD people who actually understand the impact of those, who have collected the data, who work with gases. You need, of course, the doctors and nurses and anesthesiologists that work with those. You probably also need a bit of patient input so that you can know if they are comfortable with using different types of anesthesia or not. You need to talk to the people that are responsible for the money, because if you're going to replace them, is it going to cost a lot or not? You need to talk to the bosses that make the decision. So You have to have a lot of meetings, you have to take a lot of people's opinions into account, you need to have a lot of knowledge. Those are the things that I'm currently working with and having deadlines for, so that's why I'm thinking about them. But probably when I'm done filming this video, I will remember a lot more things and be like, I should have told the cookies about this, I should have told the cookies about that, I should have not forgotten. But now you have a bit of an idea of what it is I do. And that's it for me today, cookies. And if you have any questions, I would gladly answer them. And until next time, I will see you, cookies, very, very soon. Bye!